afternoon, everyone. On behalf of Qtr2 Shares and Securities Private Limited, we welcome you all to the Q2 FY19 earnings conference call of Infibeam Avenues Limited. I take this opportunity to welcome the management of Infibeam Avenues Limited, represented by Mr. Vishal Mehta, Managing Director, Mr. Hiren Padya, Chief Financial Officer of the company. We also have Mr. Vishwas Patel, CEO and Founder of Avenues India Private Limited. So we'll begin the call with a brief overview about the company by the management, followed by question and answer session. I now hand over the call to the Mr. Vishal Mehta for his opening remarks. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon to all of you. Hopefully you have the presentation, with you, and we have uploaded the presentation on the website. So what I'm going to do is talk to you a little bit about, the company, the overview. I will have Vishwas subsequently pick up, information about payments and payment ecosystems, followed by Hiren, who's our CFO, who will walk you through the financials. We are very happy to state that Q2-19, the second quarter, is one of the best quarters for the company so far. Our subscription-based revenue model, which has been very well transforming into a very transaction-based revenue model, has been very successful, where every value of the transaction processed, though it be on payments, though it be on the Build-A-Bazaar framework, though it be on Bharat Bill Pay system that we have launched, Res Avenue, though it be on government e-marketplace platform, they're all producing, profitable revenue from operations. Our domestic web services revenue from the payment processing platform CC Avenue has reported a growth of 27% in the last quarter, which is Q2 of FY19. We processed 13,100 crores of volume in Q2-19 as opposed to 10,245 crores in Q1 FY19. That's a 27% growth, which we're very pleased about. We're expecting the processing volumes to be upwards of 50,000 crores by the end of FY19. If you look at the current run rate of 13,000 odd crores, then we believe that 50,000 crore by end of the year looks very achievable, sitting where we are sitting. Mind you, last year we did not, we processed about 21,000 odd crores. In the first half of this year itself, we have processed more than what we have processed in the entire year in FY18. Our Build-A-Bazaar web services used by merchants, they continue to be very healthy and growing, the growth rate of more than 1 lakh merchants. Our Bill Avenue platform, which provides Bharat Bill Pay payment offering for utilities, for DTH services, recharge, etc. We have been processing payments with a current annual run rate of 250 crores. This is a platform that we just launched before, 6 to 8 months, and we are already at a run rate of about 1 crore a day. So we're very pleased in terms of, the progress that we've made in terms of launching of Bill Avenue, which is the Bharat Bill Pay system, where we collect utility payments. As a reminder, we were never processing utility payments in the past. Given the license, we just initiated that, and we've been at a run rate of between 70 lakh to 1 crore a day, which we are very pleased about. The Res Avenue framework that we have, we generated more than 1,500 room nights booking on a daily basis, and the transaction volume also of more than 2.5 crores a month. So that also, as a framework, has been growing very well. Government e-marketplace, which is a platform that we launched, we've been looking at, more than 150,000 sellers registered on the platform. Earlier in the government, there were a few thousand sellers who took bulk of the business of the government, central government. The size and scale of the opportunity is 6 to 7 lakh crores, which is significant. If you look at this year itself, there is a projection, of 50,000 crores, which has been made public by the government in terms of what should potentially go through GEM. So in that, we've been seeing a very good traction. Our subsidiary in the UAE, we have been processing payments. This is an acquisition that we had made in the first quarter, and we've been processing payment volumes at a current run rate of about 500 million dirhams. We expect that the volumes will reach about 1 billion by the end of the year in terms of processing volume. Our global, revenues and profits, because of the volume and the processing volume that has scaled up, it's very reasonable that both our revenues and profits scale in a similar impact. In Q2 of FY19, in the standalone results that we've published, our company has reported an EBITDA of 13.14 crores. That's slightly lower than what we had in Q2 of FY18, which is a year ago. However, if you look at the quarter-over-quarter results, in the first quarter of FY19, we had an EBITDA of 0.24 crores, and that has grown to 13.14 crores in the subsequent quarter. So obviously, the processing volumes that we have generated in this quarter, given the strength in terms of our business, that has contributed to an increase in EBITDA margins, and we expect that with the festival season in Q3 that should also continue building up as we scale up. If you look at, the subsidiary, numbers, in Q1 we had talked about based on the management MIS, and we do not have the consolidated numbers. The standalone numbers, of course, reflect on a Q2 FY19 basis a loss of 4.5 crores, and, in Q1 there was also a loss that was reported due to extraordinary items. But the true picture of the performance, of course, would not come out until we generate the consolidated results. Considering the large scale of acquisition of our payments business in the UAE in the first quarter, the company was not able to prepare the consolidated financial statements within the prescribed timelines. And looking at the large volume of the transactions, that we were not able to complete the review as well in time. As a result, we published the standalone accounts, which were reviewed and taken on records. As per the rules and regulations, we will continue to publish the standalone accounts for the first 3 quarters. The consequence of this is that when we will report the standalone numbers, that you will see the revenues and profits of the standalone company for the period Q1 FY19, Q2 FY19, and Q3 FY19. However, the company will publish the consolidated audited results for Q4 FY19 along with the full year. If we look at how our some of our subsidiary companies are doing, and we had talked about this based on a management MIS, that we had generated, an EBITDA in the subsidiary company of about 43 odd crores last quarter, based on the management MIS, that we would have generated in this quarter EBITDA in subsidiary of about 53 crores. If you look at, the Q4 FY18, when we were allowed to report the consolidated performance of the company on a consolidated basis, last year had reported revenue of 839 crores, an EBITDA of 188 crores, and a PAT of 88 crores with a dividend of 2 rupees per share. We're confident of the performance in FY19, both for our India and our international business, when we would report at the end of the year. We must add that, we are very buoyant and excited about the current quarter, given that, Diwali and the incremental business falls in Q3 of this year compared to last year. Our USP has always been that every transaction so processed on Build-A-Bazaar or on the payments framework in web services results in revenues and profits for the company. Unlike the e-commerce marketplace, who record higher transactions and losses, we forward invest and try to generate profitability, and we keep profitability on site. Our business model is simple. We earn on revenue transaction processing, and it keeps on leading more and more towards transactions as we keep on operating our business. Our payment processing is used by all the leading banks in India. About 57 banks use our payment processing platform for aggregating payments from branches under all modes of payments, including credit card, debit card, UPI, wallets, NEFT, RTGS, etc. The payment business is expected to assume significant upside in volume processed by us given the current festival season for the current quarter. Our registry business, which is the .OO business, is now ranked 16th globally. We were not in the map about 6 months ago when we reinitiated, the launch of .OO GTLD, which is our global top-level domain business. Today, with the growth, we are very happy to announce we would be in the top in India and amongst the top 16th globally. We have recently, of course, announced, and you may have noticed, that one of the largest financial portals in the country, Money Control, has launched moneycontrol.OO in Hindi, which is using our .OO registry framework. We will continue to build such opportunities in the future. Our advertisement platform has been deployed and will be working both with advertisers and publishers in utilization of the same. This is added revenue opportunity for the company. Given the business model of providing e-commerce and payment platform as a service, which is software as a service, our revenue model weighing more heavily on transaction-based revenue, as opposed to a subscription-based revenue in earlier years, we feel reasonably confident about the future business and prospects of our company. GEM, which is the e-commerce marketplace initiative of Government of India, is validating our conviction. Government-owned purchase across all departments and the PSUs are quite large. They're almost at the scale of 2 to 3 times the size of an Amazon or a Flipkart put together, at 6 to 7 lakh crores. In doing so, your company earns revenue on every transaction taking place on the platform. Many of our other corporate customers also are availing our services in payments, in logistics, in registry. We are actively working with them for a complete integration of our business into the platforms. We expect that we should continue building out the significance in India and the digital economy, which is a sizable share of the business produced by our customers. Digital transactions, are global, and we are continuously positioned to capture the size of the global business. Our UAE subsidiary, of course, are catering to large clients, banks, telcos, universities, and big corporates. With payments, we've also included a large number of clients, including universities, Ajman University, Damak Properties, DHL, Relat. Many of the other large companies keep on utilizing our frameworks. Our customer base has doubled, and the volume continues to double as we build out scale in that geography. We also service the business and operate with greater profitability there. On an equity of 66 crores and a reserve about 250 odd crores, the debt in the company is less than 40 crores. We continue to optimize shareholder funds with a higher growth in revenue and profits. We, are confident that we can continue building out the business in this year as well as in upcoming years. We're happy to state that our focus on profitability and growth that we undertake in every business will go through some evolution of forward investing, but we will always keep profitability on the side. As we expand in other geographies, we will leverage our integrated platforms, offering e-commerce marketplace with a complete transaction fulfillment, smartly combined with payments and other solutions and value-added services to generate, returns. Our strategy of focusing on certain verticals like retail, education, entertainment, we've also focused on hospitality, government. It's helping us to produce more stable and good growth. With Amul, Syntex, Wilmar, Government of India under the GEM platform, there are recent additions to the list of some of the larger customers that we have in the field who are availing our complete platform and offerings. Globally, companies like Saudi Telecom, Jumbo, Emaar, Sharaf Travels, many of them, they are using our web services platform. Furthermore, I'd like to touch upon the fact that both promoters and employees through our trust have also added stake in the company, and they've been purchasing shares between 55 rupees and 213 rupees a share as well through the months of June through September. The management and promoters are confident of business prospects and the possibility of the company to be able to continue to grow. We feel India is at the beginning of our digital journey, and Infibeam is entering into a large opportunity of our lifetime. We are committed to grow this business across the globe, and with an Arjun-like eye focus on profits and profitability and growth from the business, we believe in value-based growth. Cash burning and running the business on internet platform at a loss is not the philosophy we had before, and we will never have going forward. With these opening remarks and overview, I would now walk you through the slides that are there in the presentation that will give you some overview about our business, both on a consolidated basis and a standalone. Of course, given the requirements, we will only talk about the numbers which are related to standalone growth. I'll now go to page 3 of the deck of the presentation. On page 3, this is what the consolidated company looks like, in which we have web services and e-commerce. This is as of last year FY18 and not FY19. You can easily see that web services is our focus, service-based revenue. That accounts for 98% of the net revenues of the company, whereas product business accounted for only 2% of the net revenues of the company. And what is there in the web services is our platform business and software business, our platform which is given to government e-marketplace as well as some of the other travel portals, as well as our .OOO registry business along with the identity management solutions, payment business which is CC Avenue, our Bill Avenue business which essentially is given for utility payments, our Res Avenue business which is given for hotels and many of the others. Okay? And this business is there both in India and international. Okay. On page 4, as a standalone company, what we have and what standalone results that you see include is the following. The payments business of CC Avenue domestic, and everything here is domestic. So the payment business of CC Avenue, which is included, is domestic. The Bill Avenue business, which is the utility payment business. The Res Avenue, which is the reservations and hotel business that we provide our software and payments to. Builder Bazaar, which is given to government e-marketplace and some of the merchants who utilize it to sell services, and our .000 domain and registry identity management solutions. And this is only for India. This will give you some idea in terms of what the standalone results include. The key financial and operating highlights, page 5. I'm going to walk you through how we have performed in the last quarter. Our revenues have grown 83% year over year to 134 crores. We successfully processed payments, as I mentioned, of 13,000 odd crores. That's 184% jump year over year. The number of transactions processed is about close to 29 million a quarter, which means that we are almost processing close to 120 million transactions a year on a run rate basis. As we walk through the payment ecosystem in the payment industry, hopefully you'll be able to understand what is it as a percentage of the total digital transactions that are processed through in the country based on number of reports that are out there. The number of active merchants in the web services platform continues to grow, and government e-marketplace, that also continues to be a focus area for the company in terms of being able to build out scale. I'm now on page 7, and I want to walk you through some of the specifics in reports that have come out regarding the payment industry in India. Based on a BCG report, and on page 7, which is the slide which says, massive growth in digital transactions in India, the y-axis on that is the number of transactions. It represents in billions. And if you look at, the channels through which these transactions are generated, it's divided between ATM, branch-based, and digital channels. In digital channels, mobile, ECS, POS, and Internet, they quantify as digital channels. The growth in digital channels has been the highest and continues to be. It continues to grow at 50% year over year, and post-demonetization it is even more. So if you look at that, and if this slightly date because it's FY15 continues to build out in this format, but if you look at that, approximately if you look at 15 to 20 billion transactions, and if you look at Internet, which is 8%, and mobile, which is of course growing as well, then it's reasonable to assume that with our payments framework, we would be processing high single-digit percentage of the overall market in terms of payments, just in terms of number of transactions, which is significant given the size and scale of the opportunity that we are after. If you go to slide 8, in terms of what is the projected growth in this industry, you will notice that by 2025, if digital payments, it's a smaller percentage of the transaction, it's expected to grow. While the industry itself will grow, the digital transaction is also expected to take on the bulk of the growth, not just in terms of existing but also new growth. Okay, it's expected to grow from 13% to projected 37% by 2025 based on the BCG report. And oh, by the way, while there are number of reports with different numbers out there. There's certain reports that say that digital payments becomes $1 trillion by 2020. There's this report which would potentially go and position this as about 500 billion to $1 trillion. So if you look at the industry, there is payments which are made from, it's called P2P payments, person to person. And if you look at person to merchants or person to business, the majority of the payment ecosystem today, digital payment ecosystem, as per this report, is merchant to merchant and person to merchant, as in customer to merchant. Okay, we operate in that space, and we consolidate as an aggregator all the wallets and all the companies that provide P2P payments. So as an offering, we provide the entire offering, both to merchants as well as to users. And we are very well positioned to be able to take on more of that as we keep on building up scale. Okay. Now, I would leave the rest of the discussion and the opportunity for Vishwas to take forward to explain the payment industry, the ecosystem, and how we are performing in each of these verticals. Vishwas, all yours.
Thanks, Vishal. We move quickly on to the slide number 10. This is basically how the Indian digital payment market has evolved from the early days of late 1990s to currently. The different payment gateways that is there. But it's more academic, so I will move on to the next slide. So this slide number 11 speaks about CC Avenue, the payment gateway. I'm sure since you've been present from day one when the payment started in the country, each one on the call must have done some transactions through CC Avenue, reflecting in your card statement or somewhere. So today CC Avenue per se on a macro level is an all-encompassing payment gateway used for all kinds of merchants. So we have merchants, the small merchants, the big enterprise clients, we have government merchants, we have utilities, various businesses that are there right now. So if you see why we are the one, because with one integration, one reconciliation, there are 240 plus payment options that they can offer to the customers, and a lot of transaction enhancing features that we have helps them to increase volumes, ready-made SDKs for Android and iOS platforms, and dozens of other things. So tech-wise, it's one of the most advanced payment gateways in the world, and we continuously launch. So in the last quarter, we launched B2Biz platform that was basically for business to business. It's just not collections, but also payments. So they can also do a mass payout, vendor payouts to their systems. We also launch a recurring thing, billing, just not on credit cards, but it's a new innovative on recurring billing on debit cards and net banking and even wallets. UPI 2 was launched last quarter on our systems. So in and all, with the proprietary risk management solutions and a lot of forward-looking new developments that are still coming in, I can assure your company has the most advanced payment gateway in the world. Going to slide number 12, if you see our performance for this go, I think briefly Vishal has already carried it, but what we processed in the whole of last year, FY18, we have already done in the 6 months and more, and I think we are on a growth rate to, on the current level itself, it will be more than 50,000 crores of processing this year. If you look some of the key clients that we already have, so if you look at the travel industry, so if you look at hospitality, then Taj, Oberoi, ITC hotels, then even a Lemon Tree and many other 600 hotels use our payment gateway services. In a B2C, on a travel platform, a OTA platform that is Make My Trip, Clear Trip, Yatra, EasyGo One, Hotels.com, Expedia.com are our merchants, and many others, and some of the logos are there on the systems. So who's who? So 92 of the top 100 merchants in the country use CC Avenue. Already we process in 27 currencies and 100 million plus transactions in a year. If you go to slide number 13, so some of the new merchants in the last 3 months that have come on the platform are, if you see it, Tata Power has gone live, Vodafone M-Pesa has gone live, Mumbai Metro has gone live, Decathlon Sports has gone live, National Insurance Company, Gujarat University, and Mahanagar Gas, and Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation. The Chief Minister's distress floods, so for Kerala floods, we are collecting almost 6 crores a day to help the Kerala, these things. So, rest assured, some of the biggest merchants, CC Avenue is among the top choices for them to do anything with collection of payments. If you move on to slide number 14, utility payments. Now, government in its endeavor to increase digital payments realized that utility payments was the key to, able to generate digital transactions. So they've created a standardized platform where they're pushing all utilities and service providers to come on a single platform. That's a Bharat Bill payment platform, very eagerly pushed by the central government now, and every utility slowly and steadily has come up, almost 110 plus active billers online, and almost 500,000 odd agents online across the country. These agents are the small mom and pop outside railway stations. So the kind of utilities there are like 36.1 lakh PNG connections, DTH, that is Tata Sky at Dish TV, 6.3 active DTH connections are there, 120 crore mobile connections include prepaid and postpaid. So on an average, the TRAI says that there are 100 crore prepaid cards in the country doing average of 2 transactions of 125 rupees every month. So you're looking at 200 crore transactions of recharges every month, which is coming on board on a Bharat bill payment soon. And there are broadband customers, power bills, utility bills, and slowly they're going to get insurance and other things. So the gist is that a consumer through one single API or one single outlet in any street or in a panwala shop or a kirana shop can be able to pay not only all his kinds of bills or through his app, but also anywhere outside, say in his native place also, in a single click. So that's how the digital transactions will grow. Our company was one of the awardees of the licenses as an operating unit under the BBPS. There were only 9 private players who got that license. We are one of them. And today, as of now, if you move to slide number 15, these are the existing category that is there where we have got it. Today, on the utility, we are already processing in excess of 1 crore rupees of transactions every day. This is relatively a very new one. We have, if you move on to the next slide, you will see that the amount of agents and agent institutions that we have appointed across 1,200 cities and towns across India. So we have now 3,58,985 live agents across the country, and these belong to the 72 agent institutions. So any bill payment made at an agent on UAE Exchange or Vakrangi or Muthoot or Suvidha is processed in the back end by Bill Avenue. We already have consent letter of 117. 72 agent institutions are live, like the ones of the logos that are displayed on page number 16. And the potential of their agents also coming on board will be 500,000 in the next month or two. So the growth is very fast and awaiting more billers to go online. So if you go on the next slide on 17, these are some of the billers that we have put up, which we have made live through our systems. So Municipal Corporation of Gurgaon for their aqua and property tax. Similarly, there is a Municipal Corporation of Jalandhar, Amritsar, Ranchi, which we have onboarded through Bill Avenue, our solution. Similarly, on the gas front, we have Sabarmati Gas, then the Gas Authority of India, Gale Gas, Vadodara Gas, all onboarded by us. On the DTH space, we have Dish TV, Videocon. So any recharge of these happening on any agent across the country through any AI, there is some revenue occurring to us. So that's Bill Avenue, and at an average, they said it will be around 1 crore bills paid online every day across all kinds of, including insurance payments, school fees, that will be happening. And our company is well positioned to take a very, very major share, being the first movers and already getting the systems going. If you move on to our next platform, that's a hospitality platform on page number 18. That is a Res Revenue system. Currently, there are 2 systems in that. There is a channel manager and an internet booking engine. So Res Revenue is a central reservation system, where if you see on the left hand side, it connects with a property management system, and it also or it can be manually uploaded, and through our systems, the hotel can distribute it to all the OTAs in the world, almost all the major OTAs like Booking, Expedia hotels. So if you are searching, say if we have uploaded GRT hotels of South through our platform, and if you are searching on Booking.com, it is going through Res Avenue, or a real-time inventory on Booking.com is being connected through Res Avenue. So in this quarter, we have generated around 136,300 room nights for our 316 hotels in the last 3 months through our channel manager, 136,300 room nights. And through our internet booking engine, we have around 64 million rupees worth of reservations for our 836 hotels we have processed. While on the channel manager, we have 316 hotels using it. So hundreds and hundreds of hotels are using this. Some of the key clients' names and logos are displayed. And mind you, as Vishal said, these are just India figures. It's a global solution. So we do have international clients which are reported through our subsidiary. But since we are talking of standalone, we will just focus on these numbers as of now. The gem part, I think, on the slide number 19, Vishal has already covered it. Annual projected is around 7 lakh crores what it will go, and there's a percentage-based earning occurring to the company on every transaction that happens. The dot triple also on slide 20 has been covered by Vishal. It's already in the top 16 globally, the TLD, the top level domain that we have. Next, I will move on the performance part. I will hand it over to our CFO, Mr. Hiren Padhya, who will take you on to the numbers.
Thank you, Vishwas bhai. Good evening, everybody. I would like to, now I will just focus on the slide 22, that is financial and operational summary for Q2 FY19. Please note that we will be reporting standalone financial performance for first 3 quarters of FY19 and will report audited and consolidated results for Q4 and full year FY19 in the 4th quarter. Before I proceed, I must say that our e-commerce and payment solution business have both had a solid quarter and continue to outperform our expectations. We are extremely satisfied with the performance that we have achieved in Q2 and are hopeful to close the year with a strong growth over FY18. As mentioned by our MD and our payment business head, that e-commerce solution business and payment solution business respectively are seeing a good traction because newer businesses and new age entrepreneurs are largely focused on digitization and offering their customers new age experience through technology. Infibeam Avenues aims to leverage its capabilities in web services to offer digital solutions to businesses and government to help them achieve accelerated growth and in turn achieve growth for itself. And this is evident from the strong performance that we have reported in Q2 FY19 and consistently quarter after quarter in the last few years. Q2 FY19 is a reflection of the strong adoption of our web services solutions. This quarter, our standalone revenue comprising our e-commerce and payment solutions grew 83% year-on-year to rupees 134 crore and by 48% quarter-on-quarter. Revenue growth was largely on account of significant increase in payment processing volumes. Majority of revenue is India-based with larger contribution from payment solutions. Transaction-based revenues contribute significantly to total standalone revenues. More than 98% of revenue can be attributed to our flagship solutions Build a Bazaar, an end-to-end platform to set up and manage an online store, and CC Avenues, an online payment gateway platform offering multi-channel payment processing services to an estimated over 70% of India's retail e-merchants with 240 plus payment options. The company has recorded highest ever transaction volume of more than 13,000 crores in Q2 FY19, which is leading to strong revenue in Q2 FY19. Transaction value in half year FY19, that is 232.55 billion, that is 23,255 crore, has already surpassed transaction volume processed in the last financial year, that is FY18. Company is currently on an annual run rate of rupees 50,000 crore in FY19, that is approximately $7 billion USD. We continue to make great progress in our web services business, which shows promising growth. We are focused in driving execution across business verticals with our industry-leading web services solutions. We expect that with addition of merchants, tighter integration of our web services business, and with Diwali festival in current quarter, that is Q3 FY19, we will continue building up on the transaction processing volume and growth. Earning before interest, depreciation and taxes, that is EBITDA, for the quarter ending September 2018 was 131.4 million compared to 2.4 million in Q1 FY19. Loss for Q2 FY19 was 45.3 million compared to loss of 138.8 million in Q1 FY19. Now moving to slide 23. This mainly covers two aspects. One is the debt equity ratio and secondly management commitment for shareholders. The first part is debt equity ratio. See, if you see for any organization, the important criteria for financial health would be, one of the important criteria would be debt equity ratio. In our case, considering the equity and reserves, the debt is hardly 40 odd crores, which comes to negligible, that is 0.016. And secondly, in view of our financial which is already achieved so far and the management's long-term strategy, our commitment to optimize shareholder wealth will also be reflected in the near future also. We will also ensure the double-digit growth for the current financial year, and similarly the higher growth compared to last year. Now, I'll just request to Vishal Bhai for taking the strategy part.
Thank you, Hiren. Now, I want to walk you through the slide, which is slide 24, and that talks about what is the company's strategy and outlook. Look at the standalone company. We will continue focusing on the transaction volume and the revenue model associated with that, both for our web services business. We believe that that is the right one to go after. The reason is because as company merchants, they process more, we get more returns for our shareholders. If you look at most of the contracts that we get into, they are transaction-based contracts. Our entire payments web services framework is transaction-based. And we believe that that is the right strategy for the company to follow, both here as well as international. We want to look at end-to-end solutions. You see, we've got different pieces of our frameworks. And if you're able to provide more integrated framework, much like any company that offers a bouquet of services together, that continuously allows the customer to use more and more of your services. While we have taken up that initiative, we believe that we have a lot of opportunity ahead of us to be able to build out more of such solutions going forward. We want to continuously expand across business verticals. We've realized that both channels and verticals, they work very well, and that if we are able to position it out properly and offer such solutions that target the end clients, there could be good returns to be generated. We believe that we'll continue building up on that. Our international expansion is an area where we believe has significant growth opportunities. And finally, as we we do not look at optimizing only for a particular number. We want to optimize for the long term. We want to focus and forward invest in places where we believe there are right potential, but we will always have profitability and growth both in sight. We have had it historically, and we will continue having the same going forward. I'm going to slide 26, which is, how do we think through it? We have huge, opportunities in front of us. If you look at payments as a space, when we talk about payment processing volumes of 500 billion to a trillion, in the coming years, we believe that, if our current rate of $7 billion has a lot of room to grow. So in other words, when we think about different reports that are out there that quantify that the payment industry is expected to be 500 billion to a trillion, then at current rate also that we are in single-digit percentage. Although we are a very dominant player in the current ecosystem, but we believe that there is a huge potential to be able to take it forward and grow further and keep on offering such solutions. If you look at our Bharat Bill Pay system and opportunity that we are after, today we are at a run rate where we process between 70 lakh to a crore in utility payments on a daily basis. Which means that if we process, and this is, mind you, a platform that we've launched less than, a few months ago. So based on more agents onboarding, based on more utilities coming online, we believe the potential of that to be able to offer to end clients becomes significantly valuable. If you look at the business growth in terms of our web services and our registry business, a combination of our registry and web services business is a significant driver, which we believe can potentially help us in terms of generating more service-based revenues. And we believe that ability for us to cross-sell in the future and offering more and more of our services to client will be the right way to go going forward. So to summarize, I'd like to highlight a few things. We believe that, we've got a very strong transaction-based business model to help us scale the business. We think that as we build out the business, we will focus on the long term and invest in places which have a potential to generate very good shareholder value. And we believe that we are not focused only on a number like profitability or growth. We believe growth with profitability is the right way and the right approach going forward. We want to focus on many of the digital initiatives that are there in the government. Government e-marketplace is just one of them. We believe that there are many, many more initiatives that our platform and our framework can be utilized for. International being a core area that we believe growth can potentially be fueled, that we will continue looking at that going forward. And we've got a strong team, and we want to think about a long-term vision to build out this company as we go forward for our shareholders. At this point, I think we've concluded the presentation, and we're happy to take any questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on the touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. Anyone who wishes to ask a question at this time, they may please press star and 1. First question is from the line of Bisham Patel from Dinosaur Capital Limited. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon to one and all. I'd like to congratulate you guys on the business performance. It looks phenomenal. I'd like to understand how you guys have been, growing the payment vertical, and what kind of traction, if you could, throw more color to the kind of traction that you guys are experiencing on the BPPS vertical within the payments system.
So yes, Vishwas here. Okay, so on the traction, you've already seen that what we processed in the last FY18, we have already processed in the first 6 months. So you can say that we are doubling and AD on the last year's performance, and even more as the market grows more, because you should understand payments is the core for any e-commerce. So any statements you see in your bank statement, either it's a payment or a receipt, and somewhere there is a role for us to play. So with our innovative new B2B build solutions, and even we have now started white labeling for banks, our PG solution. So if you see the Kotak Mahindra Bank's All-Pay Payment Gateway is a white label of CC Avenue. Same, we are the premium partner for HDFC Bank for their VAS initiative. We also are a premium partner for ICICI Bank and another 15-16 banks where we have strategic relationships. So payments, we are very keen, and I think looking at the current growth trend, it's 100% growth on growth. As far as your question on the bill payments, Bharat Bill Payment Systems is concerned, so it's a very short month. We're already doing 1 crore a day. The problem is that currently there are only 119 utilities live on the system. I think as more utilities go live, like I'll explain to you where I'm coming from. So now we have agents in around 1,200 cities and towns. So now we have agents in Guwahati and somewhere in Assam, but the Assam Electricity Board is still not live on BBPS. So for them, the agent there offering a Reliance Energy or a Torrent Power of Gujarat does not make sense. So they need local utilities to go live. So it's chicken and egg situation. But having said that, if an average of almost 500,000 agents that will be onboarded by the end of next quarter are able to do at least 10 bills a day with customer walking into their shops or in their kirana store or in their pan bidi shop or wherever, and able to do 10 transactions a day, the growth can be enormous across this 500,000 agents that we have. So currently it's around 1 crore a day and around 17,000 transactions a day of bill payments happening. But we anticipate more as more utilities join in, it will go through the roof.
Right. And how are you guys, especially the CC Avenue piece of the business,
right,
looking to expand in international markets, especially where a lot of US or Europe-based companies have, not come and captured a lot of share? So, for example, the other day I was reading at an article, right, which was published on Bloomberg. There's a company called Wirecard based out of Germany.
Yes.
And it's one of the biggest payments players in the world.
Yes.
It does about 5% revenue of what Deutsche Bank does, right, but has pipped Deutsche Bank in terms of market cap.
Yes, you're right. So looking at that success story of Wirecard and even an Adyen which listed and went up 10 times of their listing norms and currently valued in excess of $10 billion. So yes, payments are excessive. So the strategy as is it's a global solution. So I can't comment because we are already live there in UAE and command a significant position. We'll be going into Middle East and then slowly we have very aggressive plans in the coming quarters to grow across many geographies. So right now the immediate focus is the Middle East in many countries which is opening up there and then go into other markets also. So an aggressive plan is being shaped out. In India, if we are in excess of 50,000 crores, in UAE we are already in excess of 1 billion AED processing volumes, and in other markets also as soon as we launch, we need to make significant dent because as if you remember my statement, we already have the most advanced payment gateway in the world with so many transaction enhancing features from the merchant perspective. So I think, and it's a multilingual solution and a multi-currency processing solution. 27 currencies we can process, and it's a multilingual in almost 18 languages. So in UAE we can do in Arabic also, and so many geographies we can do French and Spanish. So expansion is a matter of aggressiveness is what we are building up in the next few quarters in a couple of jurisdictions.
All right. Thanks, Vishwas.
Yes.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Raj Sharma. Please go ahead.
Hello, Vishal. First of all, let me congratulate your team for good numbers. And now, my question is regarding Qtr2 business. What is the future plan for the business?
Sure. So if you remember in our previous calls, we had mentioned that we would like to go slightly more aggressive on the registry business. And what we believe in is that a combination of registry and our web services solution is a fantastic way to approach the market. So the strategy that we have in mind is both going deep as well as going broad. Going broad meaning that as more and more domains get registered, and more people start utilizing the .00 domains, that it becomes more pervasive, it becomes available, and people see it. It becomes very valuable. And today, we're very happy to report that out of, not being in the top 100, we are now top 16 in the world. And definitely amongst the top in India. So we believe that trajectory in terms of the registration should continue building up, which is the first part.
You said that you are on top 16, right? Now, so how many number of domains active as of now?
Yeah, so we've got more than 250,000 domains active. And we believe that the moment we are able to go to a number which is about 4x of what we are today, that we can potentially get to a number which is the top 5 in the world. So we believe that, out of nowhere, if we were able to get to this scale in terms of registrations, that the potential can be much larger. Now, mind you, the reason why we were able to get to that is because we were able to optimize on our costs. And we will continue doing so.
Yes, you just recently launched a mobile number .00, right? Now, it doesn't seem to get that much, right? Or what happened?
Yes. So that was a registration of number of users who utilize mobiles, and we got a significant amount of learning. We will have to experiment a lot as we build out scale. One of the other initiatives that we also picked up is going deep with somebody like the largest financial portal in the country called Money Control. So we went in terms of allowing them to utilize us. And the traction that we see is that as more people start utilizing it, that there will also be many of the registries that get at a premium level. And we have seen a significant increase in terms of the number of premiums that get registered globally on us. So, it will be a combination of looking at what to experiment to be able to build out scale and also going deeper within certain verticals so that we are able to get traction on that as well. And if you look at the recent implementations that we have done, what you talked about, including Money Control, as well as what we talked about with mobile numbers, that we also provide our web services solutions along with that. So it just is not a domain registry tool. It is actually a solution that you provide that allows us to build out from there onwards. So our appetite in this is that if we are able to get into a position where we are able to not just provide, and we are a registry, like you are aware, we are not a domain registrar, but if we provide solutions along with our domains, it becomes a very powerful combination to be able to go after, because subsequently we can give more of our web services to the same clients. And it will involve some amount of experimentations. We have experimented in the past. We will continue doing that in the future as well.
Okay, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Vipul Shah from JM Global. Please go ahead.
Vishal bhai, what is the kind of traction you are experiencing with GEM, and will it achieve the targets? And second question is, how Infibeam expect as a revenue and PAT during a tenure of GEM contract?
Sure. So GEM is a very important contract for us, partly because it essentially is something that is going to generate a lot of efficiency in terms of the overall procurement of the country. So if you look at the size and scale of this, and it's overwhelming, but the numbers are about 6 to 7 lakh crores just in central government procurement. And when you talk about those numbers, roughly you'll translate to between 90 to 100 billion dollars. So theoretically, it is government to business and not a business to business. But when you talk about that scale, it's the scale of the largest marketplace of the world. And that is what the opportunity is to power, or to be able to provide your framework to. So today, if you look at the numbers for GEM, you're talking about tens of thousands of crores of processing happening. So it is in single-digit percentage of the overall size and scale of the opportunity. And GEM, authorities have gone public with certain assumptions that they would like to see 50,000 crores to 2 lakh crores in the next couple of years, this year and next year. And looking at the national mission and many of the initiatives that the government has taken to onboard sellers and to get traction around it, that it obviously looks like it is happening in many cases. In the recent interview, it has also been mentioned that what used to take about 60 to 70 days for a seller to be able to physically onboard and to get a contract, that now it takes between 10 to 15 days. To actually onboard and to get a contract. So, see, the timelines have reduced, which is actually on record by the authorities, which means that, somewhere it is, generating a lot of efficiency. And the second part is it brings a lot of transparency into the system, which was not there before. And it also means that as more and more of that happens, it translates into additional revenue for us. Now, as far as the PAT is concerned and the revenue that you talked about, as more things get processed through GEM, that we, of course, generate more revenue and PAT. So we're not able to segment it out by customer. What I can tell you is that we generate high single-digit bips to about 8 to 10 bips on every transaction.
And Vishal bhai, have the state government started buying on GEM?
Yeah, many of the state governments, there are about 27 states that have signed up on GEM. And, it is public information, but some of them have started buying on GEM.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, due to time constraints, that would be the last question. I would now like to hand the conference over to the management for their closing comments. Thank you, and over to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you all for joining our Q2 FY19 call. And we have our active investor relations team. We would love to hear back from you. Please do write to us, and thank you for joining this call.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. And please don't believe on rumors and trust us. Thank you.
Thank you very much.